What's up, everybody? Prof Sales coming at you with a video. It is Monday, April 10th. We're a third of the way through the month, so go figure that. How is everybody doing out there? Let me know if you can hear me okay, if the sound is good. Hopefully, you had a great weekend. You've been having a great week of sales and a great month of sales. So let's get right to it. So as you can tell, Karen is not here. She is off gallivanting across the country doing who knows what. No, actually, she's working, and she is well. She sends her regards. She should be back. I think she'll be back for next Monday's show, pretty sure. But I need to check the schedule on that. I know she gets back on Monday, but I don't remember the time. So we'll try to make that happen best we can. So lots of people already filling in the room, so thanks for that. How was your weekend? Let me know that. How's your sales been going on eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, wherever you're selling, Etsy? And that'd be cool to talk about, obviously. But today, you may have noticed I only have a 30-minute show time, which is unusual. Usually it's a whole hour. And I'm going to try to stick to that best I can. So we'll talk about that. That kind of ties in with the show topic here in a moment. I found this new drink it's not new, but it's new to me. It's coconut flavor, and it's really yummy. Probably not super, super healthy, but not super awful either, so who knows. We blanked on the yard sales pretty much this week. We bought like one thing, which was this Monopoly game. So that I'll probably send in to Amazon. I think we paid $4 for it, still in the shrink wrap. And it looks like it sells for around 22. So, you know, not bad. But anyway. But today, though, is kind of a different show. And you may have noticed that from the show title. I don't know what your thought was when you saw that show title. And I'm not even sure exactly everything I was thinking when I wrote it. But it seemed appropriate for kind of what I had on my mind and wanted to discuss today. And hopefully you guys will be able to share some insight and maybe even learn something. Lots of people in the chat. I'm not going to call everybody out because we already have 50 people here, but there are lots of people already filling in. So, but that should give us some good conversation and so on. So I'll try to interact with you guys as much as I can. All right, so the topic of the show is the future of the Prof Sales channel, which I guess when I put that in the title, I've been thinking a lot about like, all right, well, what is my channel here for? What is it designed to do? Why do I do it? Why does Karen do it? What do you guys want? What can I reasonably give? All those sorts of things, you know, were kind of going through my head. And you know, I think a lot of times for me, I don't know about you guys, but you get so caught up in doing something that sometimes it just takes on its own inertia and you don't stop to think, well, why am I doing this? What is the point? Where am I going with it? What am I trying to accomplish? Because, you know, you've just gotten so used to being in this mindset. So I wanted to spend some time sharing kind of what my thoughts were on that. I get a lot of comments, guys, and a lot of feedback behind the scenes as well as in front of the scenes where people will say, hey, I wish you would do this, or I wish you would not do that. And so I want to throw some of those topics out there and, you know, kind of get feedback, not just from the people watching right now, but if you're watching later, I'd like you to, you know, reply in the comments. You can send a message as well, but there's a couple things. And these are just nuts and bolts things for the moment. So I get probably the most common comment I get is about the length of a video. Now, and predominantly the comment is, hey, your video is too long. And that's usually in reference to these hour-long sort of vlog style shows that we have every Monday and Friday. Here's the thing. YouTube rewards live shows. It rewards live shows with more views. It rewards them with more recommendations for other people to view. It just is a better format, no doubt about it. And the live show tends to be really effective for a lot of YouTubers when you make it around an hour long. Now, the downside of that for me, guys, and this is where I struggle, is it's almost impossible to fill 1 hour with just A+ content from 0 to 60 minutes. I mean, that is really hard to do. I don't care how good you are. So inevitably, the conversation gets off on other topics. It gets off onto, you know, personal things going on or some chit chat here and there. But we do our best to stay on topic. We do our best to have an outline and go through it. But I'm always open to, you know, suggestions. The tricky part is this, guys. Anytime you put yourself out there in the universe, you're going to get comments on what you're doing, but you don't really know how representative those comments are of most of the people watching you. I mean, the only ones you see are the ones you see. So if 10 people comment on a video, but 1,000 watch it, are those 10 people really representative of those 1,000? Maybe, maybe not. They may just be the people who felt strongly enough to say something about it. You know, that's why, you know, when you're taking polls and you're trying to get a survey of a group of people, you have to talk to enough to make it statistically significant. Well, on YouTube, it's never going to be statistically significant, and people select themselves. They self-select, so it's not random. So I don't really know. But still, so the only way I have to know is I can look at my analytics behind the scenes. I can look at how long you guys watched it. I can look at how many likes or dislikes it got. I can look at how many comments, all that. But ultimately, whether you want a longer or shorter video, I don't know. The shorter videos tend to limit themselves to like specific content. Hey, this is how to photograph jeans, or this is, you know, how to pack and ship something. Because they don't need to be an hour long. They don't need to even be 30 minutes long a lot of times. But the live shows are trickier because all you guys, you know, there's 68 people watching right now. I could ignore all you and never say anything to you, but I don't really feel like that's really appropriate, and it certainly doesn't build much of a community. So I'm always in this tricky place where I'm trying to placate all these different groups of people, and it's kind of impossible. But I'm still open to suggestions. I'm open to, you know, doing things differently. I'm open to other content. But I got to tell you guys, the biggest struggle for YouTube, anybody who's a YouTube content creator will tell you this, is you have to justify the time you spend. Now, what does that justification look like? Well, I think we all do it for different reasons, and maybe combinations of reasons. Some people do it because they want their ego stroked. They want a bunch of people to come on and tell them how great they are. Some people literally do videos because they want to argue with a bunch of people. So they put out content they know will sort of push people's buttons. Others are doing it for, you know, the income you get off of Google AdSense dollars and so on. They're trying to build that up. Others want to share their knowledge. They have a teaching mindset or a giving mindset. And then there's people who have like combinations of all those traits. But I always want to be able to justify it in the time spent. And I can tell you guys, I do not make videos so that people can tell me how great I am or how smart I am or how I don't. It's nice to hear those things, but I don't need it because I find satisfaction. I find, you know, this sense of purpose and who I am and my identity is not tied to the content I put out on YouTube. So I'm not gonna ever, you know, go for just that. I could do that, and there are content creators who do that, but that's not me. So I still need to justify it for the time spent. And I think I've told you guys, I have a teaching background, I have a teaching mindset, and I do like to teach and so on. And I hope that I am doing that, but I don't always know if it's connecting with you. You know, I don't hear from all 7,000 you know, people who subscribe to this channel. And I'm kind of glad about that because I would spend all my time reading comments and emails. But I do want to make sure that what I'm doing has a connection to the people who are watching. Even if you want to say to me, hey, Prof, you did this or you said that, but I think you should have done this or said this. That's fine. I have no problem hearing that. It doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily take your suggestion or not. There are people who made suggestions, I've taken them. There's others who've made ones and I've been like, nope, not going to do that. But I always I do want to hear from you guys. I do like hearing from you what your impressions are, not just the good. I mean, you know, and I don't consider it bad. You know, if I say something or don't say something, or I do something a certain way or don't do something a certain way that doesn't sit well with you, then tell me. I don't have a problem hearing that. I may or may not change. I may be able to do it differently. It just depends on what it is, but it doesn't always have to be the good. So I just want to be able to, at the end of the day, to say I made content that people found some value in, even if it was, hey, Prof, I don't agree with you on that, and here's why. Guess what? I encouraged you by the content I put out to think about a subject, and you came to the conclusion that you thought I was full of crap. All right, fair enough. That's going to happen. We all are full of crap sometimes, and I've had my share of times I've been full of crap, but there's value in that too. And I always want to be able to justify the time that I spend. So please keep the comments, the critiques, all those things coming. I mean, as long, guys, look, this is the thing. If you want to come on this channel and say, hey, Prof, you did this and I didn't like it, perfect. If you want to come to this channel and say, hey, Prof, you did this and you're an idiot, you've pretty much crossed the line there. I mean, there's no reason to get personal about it. I don't know most of you guys, nor will we ever probably meet. The only way we're meeting is through this. You're seeing what I want you to see, and I'm seeing your comments, what you want me to see. I don't really know you, and you don't really know me. So there's no reason to ever really get personal about it. I just think that you can be critical of someone without being personal. You can critique what they said or did and not the person, and not make it personal. And I'm not referring to anybody. It's not like I've been getting some big rash of personal, you know, like that. But I just think in general, when you want to critique someone, you need to take a very a professional approach to it, I guess is maybe the right word. I don't know. And just say, look, you said this or you did this, and here's why I think you're wrong. You're incorrect because of A, B, and C. No problem with that. Like, that's how we learn. And I'm going to say things that I know are incorrect, and people have pointed it out to me before, and I have no issue with that. Just leave the personal part out of it. You know, if you critique me, I don't think you're an idiot because you critiqued me. I think you wanted to critique me. That's fine. No problem with that. But it doesn't reflect on you personally or me personally. So keep those coming. No issue with those. And most people on this channel have been really good about that, and I have no issue. All right. So, and that's a good life thing too, I think, right? I mean, you can disagree with somebody and not be disagreeable with them. I have a friend who we disagree sometimes on political subjects, and we are philosophically different in a lot of ways. And I love him to death. I think he's wrong about some things. I don't agree with his view and his perception. I like him as a person. It doesn't, you know, that's not a deal breaker for me. And if you put content on YouTube that I don't like, or you have a business model that I don't think is the best business model, I'm not going to attack you for it. I'm not going to necessarily attack your model. I just think it's different. You know, and that's fine. We can be different and agree to be different and not attack each other. So I think that's important, and I felt like I needed to bring that up because I know there's people out there who think, you know, it's YouTube and I'm anonymous, more or less. So when somebody puts out content, I can say anything I want to them. Well, yeah, you can to a point, but what does it say about you if you can't do it in a way that's not professional, if it's not constructive? It just says that, you know, for some reason you're not feeling adequate and you feel like you need to tear other people down. I just reject that as a philosophy of life, whether it's YouTube or anything else. So hopefully that was clear. All right. So a couple other things here, and I know there's lots of comments going through here in the comments. I can't get to them all. Someone said Chad rarely wears pants. That's kind of funny, actually. I saw Chad in the chat room here. Good to see you, my friend. So here's one other thing I wanted to throw out for everybody. And I've been toying around with this idea for the past month or so. I want to move out into some other type of content. Now, let me explain what I mean there before people start jumping the gun and thinking, oh, Prof's never going to talk about reselling anymore. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that there's more to being a good reseller than just focusing on the nuts and bolts. And I feel like, myself included, as a content creator in the reselling community, we don't always do a really good job about explaining business concepts, having a business mindset, being able to think outside of the reselling box. And I think it limits us. I mean, this community on YouTube, it's hard to put a number on it, but when you kind of look at the number of people who subscribe to channels, I don't think the reselling community that watches YouTube videos, I don't even know if it's 100,000 people. It might be. It might be that big, maybe even a little bigger. It kind of depends on what, how you define a reseller. But in a small community like that, like 100,000 people, if that truly is the size of the reselling community, you have this tendency to sort of just zoom into groupthink, and you don't really, it's hard to kind of break out of that mindset. And I really, guys, want to push into some other topics. I mean, I don't consider myself just a reseller. Like, reselling is really interesting to me, like the philosophy and the mindset behind it. But there's much more to being in business than just reselling. I mean, I think there's other topics out there. There's being like an entrepreneur even, that can push you in different directions, that can, open your mind up to all kinds of things. It's kind of like, I'll give you a good maybe a good analogy. Say you're really good at selling cars. Let's just say you're a good car salesperson, and you're really good at it, or maybe you're average at it. Doesn't really matter. But when you learn how to sell other things that have different features, and maybe people buy for different reasons, like people buy a car for a different reason than maybe they buy, say, a refrigerator. A refrigerator is a once every 10-year purchase, 20-year purchase. People flip through cars because cars are kind of about status and the look and the feel, and there's some other factors too, gas mileage, comfort, things like that. But a refrigerator is pretty simple. I mean, it keeps things cold. But selling a refrigerator is not quite the same as selling a car. It's a different mindset on the part of a customer coming in. But if you learned how to sell refrigerators, it's probably going to help you sell cars more, because you're going to learn about different customer mindsets. It's not the product so much as it is the mindset. And I think when we only focus on eBay and Amazon and Etsy and Poshmark, I feel like we kind of limit ourselves into this reselling mindset. And I want to break out of that, guys. I mean, and I am totally open to other suggestions. And one way I want to do it is start reaching out to other content creators in other related niches or related areas of being an entrepreneur. Like, for instance, there might be people here in the chat or here watching later. Maybe some of you guys want to put out your own YouTube channel. You want to start a channel. I know there's some of you out there. I get comments every once in a while. I would love to do some videos about that. And I guess I've kind of held myself back because I think, well, is my community going to like it if I do a video that's not about reselling? That's the big question. Or are they going to like it if I, instead of doing a video about eBay, I do a video about, starting a business? I'm open to suggestions, and I know there's a lot of people out there who probably want to go in some of these other areas, and maybe you come to my channel for a specific thing, but I'm trying to broaden my horizons, guys, because there's only so many times you can do a video about how to package an item and ship it. And there's new people coming in this community and people leaving, and I get that. And there's people who don't know, there's newbies and so on, or there's somebody who hasn't thought about it that way, or maybe I can deliver it a slightly different way than the bona fide hustler did, or a different way than Chad did, or Rakin, or you know, whoever. And that's cool. You know, we all have different styles, and maybe my way connects with you, but their way, maybe somebody else's way connects with you for something in a different way better than me. That's cool. I get that. Like, I've learned different things from different people. Like, one person would explain it and I'm like, I kind of didn't get that. And someone else explained it. I'm like, oh, I got it now. It makes sense. But I just want to push out beyond sort of this this mindset, you know, because I just think that, like, there's more to reselling. There's more to being an entrepreneur than, you know, just all the nuts and bolts of reselling. I just think that in some ways we're limiting ourselves. I mean, I know we are, because, you know, there's skill sets out there that would transfer into what you're doing. And there's other avenues. I mean, there's people who move into completely different business models. There was somebody talking about, you know, they were primarily selling a lot of books the other day. You know, I was reading this on one of the groups or forums or what, and they've now started moving into a lot of thrifted RA type items. Why? Because Amazon, you know, changed the way they did fees for booksellers, and it was more expensive. Well, if they didn't know, like, if all they'd ever focused on was books, and they didn't develop in this mindset to move into other types of items and so on, you know, they would be kind of up the proverbial creek. But I just think, guys, it's like you don't know what you don't know. And there's a whole big wide range of content creators and personalities and mindsets out there that can go a lot larger, you know. And I don't know exactly what it looks like for this channel yet, guys. I don't want people to walk away from this video thinking, well, Prof says he's not going to talk about reselling anymore. That is not true at all. That is not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm hinting at. Not at all. But what I am saying is, I want to grow. I want to grow and evolve. I want this channel to grow and evolve. And I don't mean just the numbers of people watching and all that. I want this to grow in terms of what we talk about, what we focus on. Because, guys, there's a big world out there, and it's bigger than just reselling. It's bigger than just what we've kind of been, you know, there's great people in the reselling community. This is not a knock on any of this, not at all. I don't want you to think that. It's not saying that I don't like the content in the reselling community, because I do. And I think there's a lot of great content out there. There's a lot of great content providers. And honestly, I've made a lot of great relationships and friendships with several of these people that I value very much. It's just this recognition that I've always got to keep evolving. I got to keep growing. And I cannot pigeonhole myself into just, you know, one area of being an entrepreneur forever, or I run the risk of limiting myself, limiting my success. I mean, limiting my mindset. I don't know about you guys, but the exciting part for me in being in business for myself, it's not making a lot of money, or it's not even really working for myself and not having a boss, although that's a great benefit. Don't get me wrong. It's more that I get to decide the direction I go. I get to decide if I want to go and sell this or do that or move this way or move that way. There's no one telling me how. And I want you guys, as part of this community and as part of the community here on this channel, to give me feedback on that, to say, look, Prof, we would like to hear more about these areas. I'm curious about this or that. And I want to do it. I just think that there's too many other areas of interest out there, you know, that relate to being a business for yourself and entrepreneurship, that, you know, we don't have to just always stay in the reselling mindset. We can relate it back. And I always will do my best to do that, because reselling is what's been very, very good to me. And the community's been very good to me as well. So there's no way I would abandon that. I just want to make sure that I'm also pushing myself and pushing you guys to evolve with me. So leave me comments on that. You can send me emails, profsales44@gmail.com. That's here on the About section as well. I know there's a ton of people chatting today, and I missed like every comment. So my apologies for that. When without Karin here, it's hard to catch both of them. But guys, you know, let's move in other directions. Let's keep evolving. Let's keep pushing ourselves to learn more, to be more, and not set these artificial limitations. And by the way, for those of you who say, because I know there's somebody out there right now probably listening to me, or maybe you'll watch later and think, yeah, Prof, but I haven't mastered reselling, or you haven't mastered reselling. You're right. I haven't, you haven't, and we never will. We never will. There is no mastering reselling. There is no mastering really anything. There's just evolving and learning. And if you're not doing that, then you're going backwards. You're dying. So it's not about thinking I've reached a pinnacle of anything. I will never reach a pinnacle of anything. I would hope I never would, because, or even come close, because that would be very boring. It's like, well, then where do you go from there? Like, you need to do something different. It's about evolving and learning something different, and pushing myself to go in different directions that can only help me. And maybe I'll go in those other directions and learn that that wasn't for me. That's fine. That's learning. That's knowledge. That's a good thing. But I am calling out to you guys, the community, and those who watch this video after. There's 112 people watched, and thank you guys for that. and hitting the like button for those who have. I appreciate it. But I'm calling to you guys to help set the tone for this, because you guys have way more good ideas than I do. And I can't promise you I'll do every idea or every direction you suggest, but I will absolutely consider it. And you know, if we go that way, I'll be the first to say, hey, this was so-and-so who said, hey, why don't you talk to, and it could be a personality, it could be a business model, it could be any of those things, a particular type of content that you want to see. And yeah, and it can still be reselling related too. I'm not saying that, but I really want to start doing a better job of coming to you guys and asking you, you know, about, hey, let's evolve and change and adapt and get better together. And I really want your input on it. I don't want it to all come from me, because I got to tell you guys, it gets to be a grind. You know, I know there's some other resellers here who have channels in the chat, and they'll tell you it gets tough to come up with content day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year that seems fresh and relevant. It gets hard. And it can burn you out a bit if you're not careful, and you can end up just repeating yourself over and over. And there's value to repeating yourself, because there are people who haven't heard it yet, or need to hear it a different way, or need to just hear it again. But I just think that I just want that kind of, you know, not reflection, that kind of input from you guys, more of it. And I haven't been asking you for it, so I have no one to blame but myself. And sometimes you do give it, and it can be critiques as well, but I'm really reaching out to you guys. I want to take this channel in some other directions. I want it to grow and evolve. And I recognize that I don't have all the good ideas. I don't even have very many of them at all, honestly. When I occasionally get one, it's a big deal. But, you know, send me an email, leave a comment and say, hey, Prof, why don't you have this person on? They're involved in this. And I'll go check it out. You know, I will. Or, hey, why don't you spend a little more time talking about that, because you really haven't approached that subject. It can be tactical. It can be a nuts and bolts type thing. That's fine. If I know something about it, I'll do it. If I don't know anything about it, I'll try to find somebody who does. It can be strategic. It can be, you know, the 30,000 foot view of, you know, this is how you can look at your business. Because I think they're both valuable, you know, the strategy and tactics, but I'm just asking you guys for help. honestly. I guess this is what this whole 30 minutes has devolved down or come down to. Just, you know, help me help you guys as well. And, you know, let's push into some other areas, evolve this channel, go in some different directions. Because I'm not, and please don't misunderstand me, I'm not burnt out from doing this or making videos or anything like that. Matter of fact, we're going to have a cool shoe video tomorrow night with Tino, who you may remember was on the show a couple months ago. And, you know, there's content out there and there's other directions we're going to go. But I am trying to become more committed to listening to you guys and moving in directions that you want, because I think there's value in that. And I just, you know, I recognize it. I know my limitations, and I'm not a super creative guy. I'll be the first person to tell you that. And, you know, I've mentioned that before. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this. I'm reaching out to you guys because I want to be able to, you know, harness the creativity of 7,000 people and all the influences, you know, and ideas that are out there. And there's tons, just a almost endless supply of good ideas in a community that big. But you got to let me know. So go ahead, blow up my email inbox if you want. That was probably the wrong thing to say. Now I'll get 10,000 emails. Sorry, I was trying to see if that was a tick or a spider. I think it's a spider. Oh no, it's a tick. Sorry guys, had to kill a tick. That was pretty disgusting to share with you guys. Nature calls right in the moment. All right, so listen, that's pretty much going to do it for the show. I told you I was going to stick to 30 minutes. So for all you people who like the shorter shows, here you go, man, 30 minutes. There you go. So hopefully you can watch it and not be too bored. But send me content. Yeah, I know. I said to kill a tick. What the heck? Yeah, I'll try to copy this chat. That's a great idea, Yvonne. And sorry for all you guys I didn't shout out. I know there's like 118 people watching, which is amazing. And I do appreciate it. But thanks again, guys. I'm going to be back tomorrow night. We're planning on being on with Tino, who is the, what's the name of his Selling Our Souls? No, the Soul. Gosh, I can't think of his channel right now. It'll be in the link. It'll be in the description. Tino's awesome. He has tons of shoe knowledge. And we're going to be going through some shoe brands and so on, which will be pretty cool. And he was excited about a type of show that we're doing. I actually did a similar show with Steve Rakin not a few months back, and it was really cool to do. So thank you, Rakin, for that idea. And leave me those comments and emails, guys. But I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And, you know, let me know what your thoughts are. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. I had to think about what day it is. And we'll be back tomorrow night with a video. I think we're going to be on at 8 o'clock, if I remember right, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And the Soul Advisor, thank you, Classy. Oh, man, gosh, I could not remember it. And Tino is awesome. He's got a new baby, so his time went from here to like here. But he's doing awesome, and we chat frequently. All right, so that's going to do it for today, guys. I will see hopefully most, if not all, of you tomorrow night. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and go out there and crush it the rest of the afternoon, guys. Thanks. Take care.